Jabri, Jackson, and some of those guys really stepped up tonight. Found a way to win another one, ugly, but it's better than ugly loss, right? And Bucknell's a good program. They win year in and year out. They're really difficult to defend. Their lineup has had so many issues with those two bigs. They can score it with enormous size and a bunch of guys that can really shoot it. They set good screens. They really pack it in defensively too. They're really sound defensively, and we obviously didn't shoot the ball great, and that's not a strength of ours right now. But happy to have a win against a very good program.
What did you kind of tell your team at halftime? Just after a tough shooting performance in the first half.
Just stay the course. All we can control is getting great shots. Had too many turnovers, 15 turnovers again. It's not a staple of this team right now in terms of making great decisions and valuing it. And our overall skill levels got to improve. Decision making's got to improve. When we settle in the half court, when we're playing a little too fast off of turnovers or misses. That said, in terms of open shots, I can live with an open. I'm not mad at anyone for missing an open shot, but we can control trying to get a good one, right? And we call them A shots. We don't want F shots. You're going to fall into some C shots, of course, against good defenses. C shots a heck of a lot better than a turnover. Obviously we made some in the second half to give us that lead, and thank goodness we got the lead that we got, because it was at that time it was all about holding on.
On the injury front, how's Terry doing? How's Carrio and then J.I.?
Terry's dealt with just some cramping, it looks like. And Lance didn't say that, but he's holding his lower leg, of course, and guzzling water, and then he says he's fine after a minute, so I'm assuming he just cramped up there real quick. J.I.'s getting closer, getting some reps in practice, some full court reps here the last couple of days. Carrio had a knee that is bothering him, that we learned about after shoot around, just bothered him a little bit. So I don't know the extent. I'm sure he'll get with Lance tonight, tomorrow, and kind of reevaluate.
Yeah, no Carrio tonight though. What was the message maybe before the game? With guys coming in, stepping up.
Next man up. All these guys want more opportunities. Heck, even our starters want more minutes, and the guys come off the bench want to start. And, that's what do? You just I felt for Carrio, but we were hopeful that a couple guys would step up. I like the aura on the bench tonight in terms of guys being ready to go. Again, led by Jabri. That's certainly better than the alternative. When you need that next man to step up, and they're not mentally ready, you're in trouble. If we don't get that production from our bench tonight, we would have been in trouble.
How's Juice kind of filling in his role? Obviously, he come on, he got the start tonight. Obviously, I'm assuming in place of Carrio being out, but just how's he kind of transformed the last couple of games? Because it seems like he's coming on and filling a better role.
He's a different player, and that's the funny. There's not a lot of similarity on our roster. We've got a bunch of guys that are just very different at different things, right? We bring you different things, offensively, defensively, even offensively, within the offensive end of the basketball. A different skill set. And Juice is a high energy, high level defending guy that makes a lot of effort plays, takes a lot of pride in getting the offensive glass and cutting and again defending. And he's a developing offensive player. He's a guy that can make an open shot, of course. He's had some success early on in his career at straight line driving, and his ball decisions are improving. He's starting to slow down a little bit, and that's what a lot of young players at this level need to go through that process in terms of playing really, really hard without the ball. Defense and rebounding is a certain speed, and that speed with the ball in your hands has to be a little slower. And we got to slow down mentally. These last couple games, I think it slowed for him a little bit. His feet got a little happy on a couple catches, but I think he's seeing the game a little bit slower, which is a positive.
How big was it to have M.A. back tonight? Obviously, facing those two bigs down low.
That was great. He brings us an edge. He brings us a toughness, and this wasn't his best game, of course, but he's also not at full strength. And he's a guy that'll, he'll bring it tomorrow. He brings it every day. And he's a developing guy as well, a guy that didn't get a ton of opportunity last year, had a really good freshman year. We need a big year from him.
And one of those two bigs down low, you guys seem to do a better job kind of shutting them down the second half. What were
Yeah.
the adjustments that you guys made?
I thought Frank did a pretty good job of extending their post catches a little bit. I thought we did a better job outside of Rice. We didn't do a good enough job on him, and he's terrific. Fighting through a couple screens, we died on a couple screens, and he begged for a whistle. And we gotta be physically tougher than that. But our extension, I thought, allowed for less post touches. And then where they got it was a little bit further out on the floor. I thought that our 1-3-1 was a factor. It's got to be more of a factor. We've got to tighten it up a little bit. But it stole us a few possessions where we got some turnovers. But those guys are really difficult to defend. They're such a good team of passers. They share it. They're willing. And it seems like at every position they really pass it well.
One more question, anybody?
28 points off the bench tonight. To talk about your depth and how important that is,
Yeah.
especially going down this stretch, stretch with the rest of the non-conference record and then or non-conference and then into conference.
Yeah, it seems like every couple of days we've got another one, right? And there's hasn't been an opportunity for us just to take a deep breath as we're finding out who we are. Unfortunately, as part of it, that's the negative of all the games in a row. But the positive is you get a chance to get better and find out those answers, right? And if you happen to take an L like we did, you get another one, and then you get another one, and they fall in line right behind one another. And with production coming from your bench, it should add confidence, to our roster that any number of guys can step up and help us. Whether that means making a three or getting an offensive rebound, getting a loose ball. I thought we got contributions from 10 guys tonight, and I know a couple guys that didn't get in. I'm sure were positive on the bench and provided some type of impact that I'll learn about here in the next 24 hours before we move on to the next one. But from a basketball production standpoint, I know Braylon didn't get a ton of opportunity tonight. He's a guy, though, that I think is going to have some big games for us. And those other 9, I thought made some big plays for us. And we got to have that moving forward. We're not overpowering, obviously, offensively right now. And we got to have everybody ready. And on any given night, it might be a different 2 or 3 guys that produce for us.
Thanks, Gary.